Hello, everyone. Welcome to Living with Intention Live. I am April Wyatt, your host today, and we're going to be talking about some things here that will really open your eyes about less is more, right? Less pushing to receive more in your life, literally. And it's because of these amazing women that I'm going to be sharing here with you, and their talents helps you to understand, right? It's the work beneath the work. It's beyond effort and really into a different way of being. That's the transformative work. And because everybody's familiar with effort, right? We work harder, you're learning more, studying, getting the credentials. And I'm not saying that that isn't important. It's really about just leaning in and listening a little bit more. Because if we are pushing, if we are continuing to strive without really paying attention to what's happening within ourselves, then that effort really becomes more of cost to us. And then we have frustrations and we compare ourselves to others and don't understand why are these patterns keep coming up, right? And so that's what I like to talk about with the nervous system as a somatic performance coach. Really understanding what's happening with the body, what's happening with the mind, understanding that less is more. Because if your nervous system is already on and you're heightened and driven all the time, we don't have the space to receive more of ourselves, really. That's what it comes down to. So that's what I'm going to explore with. And I just want to bring this up to share with you with my recalibration experience. And this is for high capacity women who are carrying a lot and don't understand the patterns that are coming up because of our nervous system, because of conditioning, and really leaning into that driving force instead of allowing to ease back a little bit, understand why we have this pattern, and then choosing to shift a little bit. So this is a 7-week course, and it is amazing because this is adding in a little at a time to recalibrate your nervous system. You need that 7 weeks because of the repetition, because of really reprogramming and being more aware of when those patterns are coming up. So if you are a high capacity woman or you know someone who could benefit from this, please share this. There's a QR code down at the bottom there. You'll find all the information about that recalibration experience. And I don't take this lightly. This is something that is meaningful, and it's really a sanctuary of support. When we feel safe, when we feel that we're in a container of support, then our nervous system relaxes. Then we can really connect with ourselves and others. And this is where we learn more about ourselves. And I'm all about community and connection. And this is another thing that I'm sharing with you is with the Hounds of Business. You know, we've been doing a lot with Men's Health Month. And that is about, coming back to men and brotherhood, understanding what's supportive for them. And also, this is leading into the last part is in July 2nd. And this is about building the trust that brings business to you. And this is for, again, men and women. and Mike Asherbranner, who is the founder of the Hounds of Business. Hey, Mike, I see you in the chat already. He's leading this amazing workshop. I'm going to be part of it as well to support all people that are looking to not have that push, that chasing, that automatically activates our nervous system. You don't have to chase. It's about building trust. It's about making those connections in a genuine way. Then people understand who you are. They really lean in and listen a little bit more. And then that's where those meaningful connections start. So I, myself, Amy, and Aura are all part of the Hounds of Business. And that's another reason why I'm highlighting these amazing ladies here today. And so part of the environment too with the Hounds of Business is getting to know people, getting to understand their business, who they are. And then you get warm leads, people that trust you, that know you, that actually like you. It's not, oh, I know this guy and I'm going to pass you on to them. No, it's like, I really know this person. I want you to meet Royce the Voice, if you're interested in podcasting. I want you to connect with other amazing professionals who are heart-centered. So that's what the Hounds of Business is all about. If you're curious about that, DM Mike Asherbranner or the Hounds of Business or myself, and we would love to share more information. You can find that also on Mike's LinkedIn page too for the event. And speaking of communities, my Bali retreat is coming up. And this is something near and dear to my heart. And it's really about pausing and rising above the noise. Bali is not an escape. It's really a remembering of who you are. And through this is breath work, the biodynamic breath work. It helps to reset the nervous system. We have other experiences that we explore too, and we have a lot of fun. Who doesn't want to have fun? I think that's what we forget as we grow older, is to have fun and explore. And this waterfall that you see here is the one that we hike up to in the jungle. It's a clear path, and it is an amazing experience as you take in the sights and sounds of the jungle, see cacao plants, vanilla plants, and pineapple plants as we walk to this wonderful waterfall. And also cultural experiences too. We go off property. We see and experience a temple that's 3000 BCE. We receive a water purification ceremony from a local priest there, right on the shore of Bali. And it's just a special experience. So if you are curious, if you enjoy traveling and connecting with others, and if you can see yourself in Bali, you're halfway there. So I invite you to take a click of that QR code in the corner or reach out to me directly. I would love to share that information with you. We only have 5 spots left. Very excited about that. And thank you. Thank you for considering even going to Bali, right? That takes a lot of courage to have that journey, right? And we're going to have a journey today with these amazing gals that are coming on stage with me. And a little bit about them is about they're both incredible, right? I just love them dearly, and they help people explore deeper layers, right, that shape how we think, how we respond, and how we perceive ourselves, and even move through the world. They really help you to kind of build a different perspective of that. And their work is so different. It goes beyond the surface level. and into places where it brings new awareness and perspectives, as I said, and also new possibilities emerge. I'm speaking from Amy Shine. She's a hypnotherapist. And let me tell you, she has been supporting me this last month. And even though I do breath work, even though I know tools and resources for myself, it's always amazing to have a professional guide you because we only know what we know. And let me tell you, I feel like I'm flowing easy through the day, that my mind isn't getting caught up in all the other things that I need to do or be hyper vigilant about thinking of future things. And I'm sleeping better at night. I don't wake up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with those, oh my gosh, I forgot to do this, that hypervigilance, right? The subconscious going. So that hypnotherapy has really helped me. So that's why I'm excited to have Amy here. And then Aura is a self-discovery and empowerment coach. And she's worked and helped so many professionals gain clarity, right? We all want more clarity and well-being and a deeper purpose through self-awareness. And she's going to share about how she does that today. So together they're bringing a powerful perspective on what happens when growth moves beyond the effort and into transformation. So I'm going to bring up these lovely ladies to the stage. Welcome in, Shine, and welcome in, Aura. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here.
So good. So good. I know I alluded a little bit to what you do, but for those of who aren't familiar with you, can you just give us a little bit of background of how you got into what you're doing right now? I always love the journey, the story, because when I was 19, I thought I was going to be a travel agent. I'm not a travel agent, but Aura is kind of traveling here. But I do like to travel. So it's curious, right? Hearing about our journeys, how it's taken us to where we are today. So just giving a little taste of that. Shine, do you mind sharing with everyone about you?
I would love to. I am, as April mentioned, I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I have been on a journey for a while. I've been very involved in yoga and meditation for many years, probably since the late 90s. And I think that, I don't know, I went through a lot of transition in the last 5 to 10 years, and I've had lots of different careers. And so I think what led me to this work and helping others, I've always been I'm a teacher by nature, and I think that this is my calling, is to help others who are in transition or going through changes, or they want to change. They're ready for change and transformation. My job is to facilitate that and just help them to ease the flow. I think he said the best word, to flow through that transition rather than meet it with any negative feelings. So what hypnosis does, which is magical, is it taps into your subconscious mind. I'm simply the guide. And so you do the work and we do the work together. I help facilitate. And so, what led me to this was many, many things over the course of my lifetime, but I feel very comfortable here. It's a good place for me. And I think that I'm finally coming into myself and helping others come into themselves.
Yes, it's such important work. And having somebody to guide and just be that person to give a different perspective or a different point of view really makes a difference. Because again, we only know what we know and what we have programmed our minds or cultural or environmental things that have influenced us. So before we get into all of that, Aura, can you share more about you?
Sure. Well, I started out as a wellness and life coach. So I've been in the coaching space since 2013. And I was helping women get out of the sugar roller coaster and lose the weight since I have a background in nutrition because I was certified in holistic nutrition and as a nutrition and wellness consultant. Now, one thing that I did notice doing that work is that the people that would come to me, they did not need a meal plan. They didn't need to know what workout to do. I started realizing that they were having a relationship with themselves, with the food, right? And with their body. And it was there that I realized that if only we were to get to the core of who we really are, we can literally transform different areas of ourselves and our life. Because the reality is that we are the common denominator in everything in our life. And that's what led me to do the work as a self discovery and empowerment coach. I don't think we realize how important that relationship that we have with ourselves is, because it is the baseline to absolutely everything in our life. And that's what led me to do the work that I currently do. And yes, I do travel a lot because apart from everything that I do, I'm also a flight attendant, which you already know. And someone keeps sending me messages through WhatsApp. So I apologize for that noise.
Well, you are a busy gal. I know that for sure, Aura. And I appreciate both of you being here for this conversation because it's so important for people to understand the relationship to ourselves, as you alluded to, Aura and Shine. And really, it's about people knowing what they need to do per se, right? Like listening to podcasts or attending workshops and trying to create the change, but they often find themselves like repeating those same cycles, kind of like the sugar, like you were talking about, or so for each of you, I'm just curious, what do you see happening beneath the surface, right? That really keeps people stuck in those patterns. What do you think is impeding them beneath the surface?
I can speak to that for a moment, if you don't mind. Is that okay, Laura?
Of course.
Um, what I find is the pace of the world is really sort of dictating, and you alluded to this, all of our trainings, okay? Meaning all of the things that have come before we were here in this present moment. So things we talk about in hypnotherapy, we talk about the conscious mind and the critical mind and how that's formed early on. So our teachers, our parents, loved ones, friends, all of the people who influence us up until a certain age, in elementary school, we are trained that those are the things that we should do, right? When we start to get into adulthood and we have our own experiences and maybe have some things that are uncomfortable or that isn't exactly what everybody taught me. It was if I do this and if I do that and if then everything will be joyful and perfect and kind and I'll have the best life. And then life throws you a curveball. Okay, what do you do? Those are the types of things that we work on. So you can change by virtue of the fact that you unlearn those types of things and you become aligned with who you really are. That's where the flow state occurs. And so coaches, hypnotherapists, people in the wellness space are trained on ways to, we learn ways to tap into different parts of the mind and to disconnect from the rat race of life that is there's AI and social media and work and money and celebrity and all the things going. Do you get into nature? Do you step back? Do you take time for self-care in yourself? Those are the questions that we ask. And those are the ones that seem most important in today's world. All the things swirling around. What are you doing to reconnect?
Yes, very well said. It's so true for us to take that pause and to reflect, what's happening in our bodies. Our bodies, we tend to objectify and think it's something that we need to do something to, instead of have that relationship and lean in and listen, because it's always speaking to us. It's always communicating. Isn't that right, Aura?
Oh, yes. And in my work, I've noticed that there are two things primarily. I mean, because everybody's different, and there are different things that can keep someone stuck. In my line of work, one has been they either have an inner wound that they still haven't healed, and that's something that I've experienced before. And the other is our perspective of life and what we're living. And I'm going to explain what I mean with both. So when we're living with a wound, we might not realize that we are operating from the wound. What do I mean with that? So I'm going to use myself as an example. Before, I used to have a hatred towards a part of myself, and that was my hair. And that came from the culture, because people with curly hair like mine is considered bad hair. And what does that do to someone's self-esteem, especially a woman? They feel less than. They don't feel worthy, right? And when that goes on and you lack self-esteem, you can close doors for yourself. You can self-sabotage, right? You can allow things in your life that you have no business allowing. And I speak for myself, right? And so we can find ourselves in cycles that we don't realize that we are kind of creating slash allowing. And until we get to the core of what is driving those decisions, what is driving us to allow the things that we're allowing, we can find ourselves, quote unquote, stuck. Because I really believe that when we change, and this is going to take me to the second thing that can keep someone stuck, is the perception, the way they're perceiving their life. Today, I had a conversation with the driver that was taking us back home because I had to go with my mom to her appointment. And it's a guy, a young guy. I'm older than him for 20 years. I can't even believe how fast time flies. And here I am in my own little bubble, because I want so much out of life, thinking, oh, I don't have enough. I need more. I need this. I need that. Something that you mentioned earlier before, April, right? How we always want more and more. When I heard his story and his struggles and the things that he doesn't have yet, it humbled me to gratitude. It humbled me to gratitude. Many times we forget that we get to do things. We get to go to work. We get to do this. We get to do that. We don't realize sometimes, and this is not to disregard when we're feeling discontent with something in our life. Not at all, right? This is more about us humbling ourselves a little bit to remind ourselves not only to look up, but also look down. You still have it good. I don't know who needs to listen to this, but you still have it good. Remind yourself of that. Because if you could remember that, at least you have a foundation in your life, you could continuously build from that, but build sustainably, and not to the point that you are burnt out or exhausted or drained, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the two things that I've realized that have kept some of my clients and even me in the past stuck.
Yes. And you make it such an important point, Aura, about, pausing and having gratitude for what we have right now. And because then that stops the hamster wheel, the mind thinking, oh no, I still don't have enough. It breaks that survival mode. That fight, flight, freeze. I got to keep going. I got to keep striving. I have to do in order to receive. When being born, we are gifts, and we automatically are able to receive. Although the programming, the environment that we grew up in might impede that, because we lose touch to that part of ourselves, because as sponges, we take on other people's things. And this is where the beauty of both of your experiences come in, to help people to kind of unpack that, to be able to witness that it's beyond the effort. You know, less effort, less is more. So that way we can ease the nervous system, we can ease our mind, and experience life, live life. That's what we're meant to do, isn't it, Shine?
Exactly. Precisely. Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that living presently has been something that I've been focused on for, working with my clients in hypnotherapy. Many people present with anxiety in this environment right now. And so I think one of my mentors at my university explained anxiety as depression is looking back at the past and feeling sensitivity toward that, or remorse or regret or anything negative. And anxiety is fear of what could happen that hasn't yet happened in the future. So by living presently and being grateful, by flowing with what comes to you and reminding yourself that your heart is the center of what you do, you have every opportunity to make each and every day your best day. Right? It's a mindset. It's a transformation, as you say, beyond effort and into transformation. When gratitude becomes a habit, I take time to meditate each morning, and I take time before I sleep to reflect on my day and find gratitude. And even if it was a day full of unexpected lessons, I'm still grateful that I went through those, because then I learned something. Right? So if you're stuck at the Department of Motor Vehicles waiting for your driver's license, remember, what are you waiting for? Look around and see all the other people there and say, not the only one, and say, and I get to drive. Right?
Yes.
This is just a step. This is just a step, and it's a moment and an opportunity to just pause and not, be on your phone, but just pause and sit and relax. Maybe it took me a long time to learn to do that, to just be, to just sit, because so much of my life was go.
Yes. And I love that you brought up the DMV, because in the US, at least, that really activates people. Right away, they think of negative things. What is that? I don't know. So it's a cultural thing. And so I took a dear friend of mine who is sight challenged, to receive her state identification card, right? So I took her there, and she was like, April, we're going to find a parking spot right up front. This is just who I am. I'm calling this in, and we're going to get in there, and we'll get out in like 15 minutes. And in the back of my mind, a little voice said, oh, she hasn't been to the DMV lately. And then I thought, nope, I'm going to trust. I want to be on this high flying disc, as those who are familiar with Abraham Hicks. I want to be part of this experience. This is an experience, and I get to share this time with my friend. And you know what happened? Exactly what she said. We pull in, there's a parking spot right up front. We get in there, figure out how to log into the digital thing, right? And again, it's patience. It's like, okay, this is me helping. This is us figuring it out. There's no need to get irritated or frustrated. It's the mental. It's the, how are we working this out? This is not the rest of my life at the DMV. It's just a matter of moments, a blip in time for our lifetime. Got in there, got out, and I said, wow, I'm going to go to the DMV with you more often. We need to have fun and make it relatable and understanding that it's our perceptions, it's our energy, our thoughts are energy that we're putting out there. And as we do that, and this is science,
Yeah.
okay, as cancer research shows, thinking thoughts impacts the cells and healing. You can look it up. It's out there. And so when you're focusing in that way, in that capacity, then there's so much opportunity to come in. And I know, Aura, yes, you are all about that.
Yes.
Energy
Wanted to
flows
add
where
something.
attention goes.
I want to add something to that because as someone that's constantly around people, as a flight attendant, I know and I understand the challenges that people go through, the stress, the hurry. God knows sometimes they rush us to do the boarding, and I'm like, I haven't even checked my equipment yet. And so one thing that has helped me be grounded, because interesting enough, at work, passengers, oh, you're so happy. Oh, you must love your job. It has nothing to do with me loving my job. It has nothing to do with me having a beautiful day. It has nothing to do with life is all rosy and rainbows or anything like that. But it's a decision that I make. And I'm going to add something else to that. So it's so important that you understand how you function and what you need to be at your best. What do I mean with that? I know that if I don't sleep much, I'm not going to be the same Aura. So what do? I give myself as much sleep as I possibly need, right? That's one example. Another one, and I know why I'm saying that some people, they just go out and don't sleep and then they're grumpy on the flight. And it's like, well, you got to know what your needs are. Just sleep a little more. Okay, neither here nor there, but just something to consider, right? Another thing, it's so important in the AM to check in with yourself. So I know that I need several hours because I'm very slow in the morning and I allow it because if I'm in a rush, that's the energy that I bring in to work. So I need to wake up several hours earlier. I like to have my coffee slowly and I like to check in with myself. How am I feeling today? I don't think we stop to wonder, how are we feeling? And if I'm tired, okay, now I know I have to take several deep breaths, be a little extra patient with myself and with others, right? Because sometimes when we feel like we run on empty, that's when we lose it. But we run on empty because we're not connected with ourselves also to understand what our needs are. So giving yourself that moment to know what you need and provide that to you, super important so that you could be grounded and that you can project what it is that you intentionally want to project. Because God knows that it's not because I'm happy. I make the decision to be happy. Happiness is a decision.
It is. We have the choice to be happy. And although I want to say when we are in those lower functioning modes, then it can be challenging. I'm not saying, oh, you just need to be happy and see rainbows and unicorns. It's the easiest thing. Finding something like the gratitude, as we all talked about in the very beginning. What feels a little easier, feels easier to reach or obtain? Okay, I can be comfortable in the chair that I'm in. I can feel my feet on the floor, and take a breath. I can pet my dog or enjoy my coffee or tea. It just takes that little bit to shift that. And I want to also ask, about, and we're talking about it here, but it's really about becoming aware of the pattern, right? This pattern of every Monday, am I thinking the same thought? Oh my gosh, it's Monday. Or or a meeting's coming up, a board meeting, and this is a waste of my time, and people, say the same things and we never get anywhere. Or I'm just trying to think of things, patterns that people have in their lives, or even in their personal life too. Noticing those patterns, it could be so powerful in creating change. And I think there is a key component there to how do people bring that awareness in without trying to force or fix it? What do you think that is to help them kind of, I say, shift the script or bring more awareness in? I know we're kind of alluding to it here, but I really want people to hear this, because this is the magic.
Yeah. So I would dare to say one of the easiest ways to know what your patterns are, just look at your life. Look at what keeps happening over and over. Look at what you're allowing over and over. Just observe. You can gain so much by just observing. I highly recommend, and this is another way to find out your patterns, journaling. Just journal your thoughts, journal without thinking about being perfect or just write it all down. And do not read it the same day or right away what you just wrote, because I think that we're so caught up in what we just wrote that we might not notice it until afterwards. So after, probably a day after, or if possible, a week after, if a day isn't enough. If you're not a writer, then record yourself and don't listen to it right away. Just listen to it afterwards, because then you're gonna start noticing a little something. Now, I'm gonna say this: to me, there's nothing better than you working with someone, only because that other person serves as a mirror. If you're first beginning your personal development journey, perhaps at first it serves you to have someone. Then as you are more and more in your journey, noticing your patterns on your own gets easier. But for those that have never been in the journey, just observe and write down or record.
Yeah, those are key points. It is about the observation. And, that can be hard to slow down and really look in the mirror. What do you think, Shine? What are the key components to become aware of those patterns?
I couldn't agree more. I think the longer I live, the more I see patterns in my life. And we all have a choice when we see these patterns. You can be a victim, or you can be an advocate for yourself. You can be pivotal in your transformation. You have the option at any time. No one is ever stuck. The possibilities are endless and exponential. So when you surround yourself, something that's come to my mind lately is you are the 5 people you associate with most, right? If you're looking for change, or you can't figure out why you keep seeing the same patterns over and over again, and you're feeling, kicked in the teeth and beaten up and frustrated, and you're ready for change, the change starts with you. And I say this to myself too, because when you gave the example of repetitive things, or I don't know, just a moment ago you mentioned how you do things or something to that nature. And I was thinking, every time I go to the gas station, I'm like, oh, this turn, that turn. I've kind of memorized the way. And now that's being in hypnosis, by the way. We're often in hypnosis. And to step out of that, you have an option to turn on the radio and sing along, to say things positive to yourself, to notice the things that you like about going on your way to work, or whatever that may be. So that would be a good time to maybe organize your thoughts when you're doing something that you do each and every day. to take that and take a pause, and you're worth it. Remember, you're worth it. You're worth the change. And it sounds in today's day egotistical or selfish, but it's not to be self-centered, to put
Mhm.
yourself first. Because if you don't put your needs first and what's good for you, how can you show up best for others?
Ah,
Yeah.
exactly. I can't agree with you more. And that makes me think about a client that I recently started working with, and she wasn't aware of her own self. It was all the external, right? All these things kept influencing me. She would say, me, my health. Uh, she felt like she was carrying the weight of the world. And then through just awareness techniques, I mean, we had to start from the outside in with her. Some people can go into breath work, get in there really quick, right? I meet people where they're at. That's what's important. And I know you both ladies, you both do that too. There's no
Yeah.
forcing.
Mhm.
We're not trying to fit any around, peg in a square hole kind of thing. It's meeting them where they're at, seeing what's happening for them, and then having them leaning in a little bit and listening. So, working with her just through 5 sessions, she realized, like, I can trust my body because she had been through so much trauma.
Mhm.
My gosh, that is like woohoo, right? I was so excited for her that she came to that realization that she was able to pause and notice and just be present with whatever shows up, because there is, things underneath the surface. And when we have a sanctuary of support, like I talked about before with Bali and the recalibration experience, people relax, their nervous system relax, literally the energy expands, and then they can allow things to come to the surface and see it easier. For sure. Aura, I'm curious, when you work with clients, do you have a story to share, something like that you've noticed how people shift their perceptions about themselves?
Oh my gosh, all the time. All the time. Because sometimes we don't realize how the story that we tell ourselves about something that happened in the past is still running the show even today. And so this is why having that understanding of, okay, how are you perceiving your current situation, right? What happened? Where is that coming from? Who said that? To me, it's amazing to me how many times we speak in a way that doesn't even come from our true essence, right?
Mhm.
I want to share something with you really quick. I hope you don't mind. So
Not at all.
recently on a trip, a colleague, also Dominican, my parents are Dominican, he said something, and he said it in form of a joke that was very offensive. And what he said was, oh, because caco feo, caco means head, ugly head like ours. He was referring to the hair.
Mm,
And I had to correct him. I was like, you know that what you're saying, do you really believe that? And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because every time we make a joke, every time anything comes out of our mouth, it's so important that we take a step back and we think, okay, where is this coming from? Because even a joke is not even a joke, especially if it's something that is offensive towards yourself. I'm a big believer, you don't say, oh, I'm stupid because you did something wrong. You don't say that. You don't speak to yourself that way. Like it says in the Bible, everything started with the word. Well, the same thing happens in our life. The word is the thoughts. The
mm,
words are the beliefs. The words are the conversations that we have with other people. right? The conversations that we're having with ourselves. This is why us taking that time to really, really analyze, and I'm not talking about you're going to analyze every single thing on a consistent daily basis because that could get exhausting. However, when you notice that you say something that not so nice, whether it is about other people or yourself, stop and think, where is this coming from? Is this really my voice? Because I
Mm.
promise you, when you recognize your own voice, listen, I show up however way I want to show up because I know I'm gorgeous no matter how I look, right? And this is for any woman that right now may be thinking, oh, because I'm fat, I'm not pretty, or because I don't, if someone feels that they lack education, oh, I'm stupid because I don't have this degree or that. No, stop speaking to yourself that way
Mhm.
because you're speaking life into yourself. So yeah,
Mm.
all the time and everywhere in every conversation, I always hear some kind of story. You'll be surprised, but yeah.
And it's because of who you are. People just open up and they probably share a lot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
find that. I know Shine probably finds that too. It's because
Mhm.
we are in this capacity. We've done work. We've shown up for ourselves. We know who we are
Mhm.
and still learning at the same
I
time.
was just gonna say,
We're still learning at the same time, but more
but
aware.
willing to learn, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
isn't that a beautiful thing? Is
Yes.
no one is perfect.
Yeah.
There is only one perfect being, right? So
Mhm.
why do I keep trying to? You mentioned the word, right? In the Four Agreements, he talks about that. Be impeccable.
I love that book. Love it.
Yes, don't take anything personally.
Yeah.
Imagine. And it's a very short read, but so multi-layered. I read it quite often, actually, and I recommend it to most of my clients. It's relevant and really pivotal in this day and age right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very good book to read if you haven't already. I should be getting royalties for how often I recognize or I recommend this book because it's so wonderful, but genuinely, it's such a wonderful thing. Be impeccable with your word. Every word that comes from your mouth
Yeah.
can be you and authentic. I love how you said that, Aura. It's so true. So true. Whether it's to yourself, to your partner or friend, to anyone, to the person at the store. When I was working in the restaurant business, a lot of people come in and just unload on the person who's serving them. And oh, wow.
Yeah.
So everybody should work in a service capacity at some point to realize and recognize what that means because it's such a good lesson. I've spent a lot of time in that field. Such a good lesson. And it teaches me again, reminds me, be impeccable with my word. Don't make any assumptions just because a person's talking to you like that. It's not, don't take it personally. That's another one of the four agreements.
Exactly. Exactly. So Shine, do you have a story to share about working with a client that it helped them see themselves differently, how that shifted for them? That
I can
transformation?
speak to hypnotherapy in general, but essentially the people who come to me and who, blessedly, I've never had a complaint. I've been very, very blessed in that I feel like I prepare and I really give my best when I'm there with people. And what they say is, let me tell you about my process, and that kind of answers your question. Basically, I take notes, and a lot of times by session 4 or 5 or 6 or upwards into the teens, I say, do you remember when you came to me and you presented this? And they're like, oh my gosh, I forgot. There you go. Proof positive that anyone can change, right? And it's not that I waved a magic wand, I waved my magic hypno wand. No, you came, you were vulnerable, and you shared. And the more rapport we developed, you were able to share. And I was able to mirror it back to you as Aura said earlier. And yeah, being a mirror to your feelings, your desires, your thoughts, and us being attentive listeners in this space, so critical. Taking good notes and then using your own words with you. It's
Mhm.
such a magical thing. And they say, oh, so when you go into the portion of hypnosis, the portion of the session into hypnosis, I help you develop thoughts that you want to have repeating in your mind. So we get into your subconscious mind, which is upwards of 88% of your mind. Get into your subconscious mind through relaxation and then embed those positive changes that you want. I can't put anything in there that you don't want to have happen. And when you see those things happen over time, that's the positive change that you get to enjoy.
And it
So that,
does.
yeah.
It's amazing. You are amazing, Shine, at supporting people and witnessing those parts, and so gently, so delicately. You take your work seriously in such a compassionate way. And I know you do too, Aura, and how you support your clients and community. And I just want also to ask you, Aura, about you finished a TEDx talk, didn't you?
Oh,
I
yes,
want to
I
hear,
did.
I want to hear a little bit about that, because I think that kind of leads into what we're getting at here today, before we say our goodbyes. So if you could share just a little bit about that.
Yes. So that was my second TED Talk, this time in Spanish in the Dominican Republic. It was entitled El Poder de Vivir con Propósito, which means the power of living with purpose. And boy, was that a very challenging talk. Why? Because it was an outdoor stage and the sun just decided to shine when it was my turn to talk. And I, and I had no idea you're not supposed to wear polyester on that kind of heat. So I was excessively hot. And what I want to share about the message, and because the message ironically ended up being what happened on that stage. Can you believe I knew my speech very well? And the second sentence I messed up. And right when I messed up, the lights went out in Dominican Republic. And I felt like the universe was giving me another chance to redo the whole speech. Can you believe that? How many times in life does life give us another chance, another redo? Okay. So then I was left with one or two things to do because everyone there heard my speech already and they loved it. It was a standing ovation the day before. And this time it was like a flop when it first started, right? This is going to be very valuable to the message of even the TED Talk and even today. When you are embarrassed, because that could be embarrassing, because I was not nervous. I love public speaking. Okay. So I was not nervous, but I was hot and thirsty. When you are going through circumstances where you are being challenged and you have conditions that you cannot control, you have either one of two choices in life. You're either going to trip up because the conditions are not favoring you, right? And because you're going through things that you have no control, which for me was thirst and so much sweating, right? Or, and on top of that, the embarrassment because everybody saw me flop. Or you could say, you know what? I'm still going to stand up straight. That happened and I'm going through this. I don't care. I'm going to keep going. But that's a metaphor to life. How many times do we make mistakes? How many times are we in situations that are less than favorable?
Yes.
And the best thing that you can do is to keep going. Because you know what? You never know who needs to see your weaknesses, because your weaknesses at that very moment was the message that the audience needed to watch.
Yes, it's being transparent, it's being vulnerable, it's showing that we're human. Nobody's perfect. And I love that, Aura, that, the second sentence and you stumble and then the lights went out and you're like, I of a second chance, even you thinking that way versus, oh, great, now the lights went out and this is really screwed. Right? There's so many people that could feel that way or think that way, but you were like, no, this is my second chance. I can step up, dust myself off, and let's see where this takes me.
Yeah.
And I think
Like when your camera cuts out 4 minutes before broadcast time.
right? And it's just recognizing that and remembering that we are human. And this is how people can relate to us even more so.
Mhm.
They value that. They seeing the little hiccups, seeing like, oh, see, even Aura, seeing this 2-time TEDx professional speaker stumble. I had the same thing happen with my master class. Things didn't go as I planned, right? But that didn't affect what the guests received. And they loved it. And Shine was there. And it was, I thought to myself, oh, it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about how these ladies came together. They were able to connect. They were able to understand what I was getting, the patterns. They had amazing shares. And this is what builds that. This is the safety, that container. This is, again, nervous system. We're doing this together, not alone. It's so important. Yes. So as we are coming to a close, we're almost at the top of the hour. Oh my goodness, we'll have to have a number 2 talk here. As we had a lot of people come in. Thank you, everyone who came in and shared in the discussion. Sam was here, Deborah, Jennifer Thompson, Lisa Feverick was here, and of course, Mike Asherbranner. Thank you so much. And Divine was here. Blessings was here.
Blessing.
Excuse me. Yeah, she was here. So it's lovely, right? People are leaning in. They want to learn how to not push so hard, not have so much effort, have more ease in their lives. And each of you has amazing talents to support those people. And so let's start with you, Shine. Where can people connect with you? How do people reach out? I know I have your LinkedIn here.
Yes, at the bottom right there, LinkedIn is a great place to catch me. Also, Facebook. I think that I don't know if I have Shine in my name there. I think it's just Amy McLean. Yep, Amy McLean. And Facebook, LinkedIn, if you want to send me an email, it's just my name, shinemclean@gmail.com. But I welcome your questions about hypnosis. I welcome your questions about transformation and change. And I would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for hosting this. I think it was a beautiful conversation, better than I ever could have expected. And I learned so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Aura, for taking time out of your busy travel schedule to be here and to teach us so many beautiful things. April, you're a beacon of light. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Aura, how about you, my dear? Where, besides your LinkedIn, is there another space to connect with you?
Yes. Those that want to connect with me, they can go to www.auraemartinez. There you'll be able to get in contact with me. You can follow me on Instagram, Aura Elena Martinez, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere, Facebook. And this has been so beautiful. And the energy here is so beautiful. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, April. Really, to share space with both of you is just an honor.
And it's such an honor too. And we have the beautiful Jennifer Thompson here as well with I Am Magazine. Love you, Jennifer. Anybody who's curious about I Am Magazine, they have a Latino edition as well, which is amazing. They do so much in the community. And I highly recommend to connect with Jennifer Thompson as well. And I just want to shout out to Samantha Bergdahl. She and I are hosting a Kindness Worldwide meditation this Sunday, and it's monthly. So if you're watching this later, just log on to Samantha Bergdahl's website, and you can find the meditation under the events to sign up. It's free. It's amazing. People from around the world come together. Who doesn't want more kindness? That's what I say. We all want more kindness. We're all saying it. We're all shouting it. We're craving it. So let's show up together and create this ripple of change as we're also supporting Kindness Worldwide with Kevin Smith and his expansion across the globe as well. So thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Kevin and Mike Asherbranner, for bringing us all together. And is Sam still here? Hey, Sam. And you can find that information on our LinkedIn. And Sam has the link here on eco-sam.com/events for signing up for the monthly Kindness Worldwide meditation. So thank you, Sam, for putting that up there. And thank you, ladies, for being here with me today, and all those who showed up and stayed. We appreciate you. And please reach out to Aura, reach out to Shine. They are here to support you. We all are. We want to celebrate you. And it's so important for you to understand that, yes, we have these patterns. It's not good or bad. It's just how we've learned to protect ourselves. And it's no longer needing to serve us any longer. So we can just peel back those layers and discover more about ourselves in the process. So thank you, friends, for being here, and keep living with intention. Until next time, be well.
Bye.